Ωραία, καλησπέρα σας. Ευχαριστούμε που μείνατε μέχρι τώρα για να ακούσετε και τον τελευταίο μας παρουσιαστή και καλεσμένο από το εξωτερικό. Να σας πω δύο λόγια μόνο, ότι γνωρίζω τον Holger από το 2008, που είχε έρθει στο Φεστιβάλ Κινηματογράφου Θεσσαλονίκης για το Crossroads Co-Production Forum και για την αγορά, ως εκπρόσωπος του ZDF Arte, ως commissioning editor. Και από τότε, όποτε του επιτρέπει το πρόγραμμα, έχει επανέλθει. Και όπως καταλαβαίνετε, λόγω της ειδικότητάς του, οι σκηνοθέτες, παραγωγή όλων των εθνικοτήτων τον κυνηγάγανε για να του μιλήσουν. Και με την τρομερή ψυχραιμία που τον χαρακτηρίζει, μίλησε, μπορώ να πω, σχεδόν με όλους. Λοιπόν, θα του δώσω το λόγο για να σας εξηγήσει πώς λειτουργεί το ZDF Arte, ποιες είναι οι ευκαιρίες που μπορείτε να εκμεταλλευτείτε και τι χρειάζονται για τις αιτήσεις, και θα σας παρουσιάσει και 4 ελληνικές ταινίες με τις οποίες έχουν συνεργαστεί. So, thank you for coming.
Kalispera, thank you for having me here. I was asked actually to explain a little bit what commissioning editor means in our department, because there seems to be a different understanding of the word. So we as commissioning editors at ZDF Arte, we are there responsible for co-producing, but we also acquire films. That's why I was in Thessaloniki to speak to producers, but also to see movies. And we're also responsible to program, so we are basically responsible for the material, to see that the material is okay, and to put a plan together what kind of film is shown on Arte at what time. I'm well aware that Arte is probably well known to you, but I think it's the brand name is very well known, but the complexity of the structure is often less well known, less familiar. So that's why I want to say a short word on Arte. So already the word, you hear Arte, I say Arte, but the French say Arte. It's a German-French cultural channel. It is often perceived as a French channel, but it's not. I am the living proof it's not. Germany has a 50% share in it, and it was created in 1990, so it's another beautiful daughter of that era, like Urimage, like Jave, like Ace, the decade of the fall of the Iron Curtain. And as I said, it is there to enhance, to foster, promote European culture, and to somehow create a kind of European public opinion, and in the end maybe something like a European identity. That's why it was always meant to reach out across the borders from Germany and France, and to reach out to other European audiences, other countries. So the structure, 2 words, no, not 2 words, I make it short, but it's going to take at least, I don't know, 5 minutes or so. The structure is very complicated. Contrary to what you might think, the French side, in this case, is an example of rational, logical organization, whereas the German side is a complete organizational chaos. It's Arte France is structured as a standalone enterprise, so all services of Arte France are under one roof, and that's very handy, I'd say. Whereas on the German side, so speaking for 50% of the program, they all come from various local broadcasting companies. So that's, of course, due to our history. It has historical reasons. Culture in Germany is in the responsibility of the regions. So you have to talk to the regional channels like Bavarian Radio Television or WDR or stations like that. But there is one exception, because the closest the Germans get to a French, let's say, centralized system is ZDF, the station I'm working for. It's a national public broadcaster. and it is national, but it is actually owned by the Länder. So, one short note aside, just for you to understand the Arte situation. The Arte is really a tiny, only has a very tiny fraction of the German TV market. I think many people overestimate Arte because it's such a brand name. It only has 1% of the market share in Germany, and it has and only 3% of the public funding that go to public television go to Arte. So 97% of the money goes to other stations. So we're really very, very, very small, and that allows us. We are very proud to offer something that is a little bit aside. That is, something that other stations do not want to or cannot offer anymore because they are focused more on mainstream audiences. So we are actually, let's say, we also address ourselves to minorities, to niche publica, and I'm now talking to you as a niche public or a minority, the minority of cinephiles or the cinephiles, because Arte also has a very, very important cinema offer. That's why I guess that's why I'm here. So Arte does broadcast approximately 300 films a year. That's not counting series, not counting TV fiction. It's only theatrically distributed films. We do that on 5 weekly slots. So we have 5 regular weekly slots for cinema. We also, of course, have non-regular slots for experimental films, for medium-length fiction, short films, restored silent movies. Since a representative of the Goethe Institute is here, my colleague does these wonderful restored silent movies that travel around all Europe in the Goethe Institute with live accompaniment by an big orchestra. So she's handling that. And we have trash films as well at night, late at night. And I saw that you can all see it here as well in Greece, in the Hotel Intercontinental. Here's an outline of, because I just arrived here from a meeting we had in Strasbourg, so I brought with me this outline for the next 5 months for films. And since in every panel there has to be one mention of Kinodontas, Dogtooth, here it is. The second film on this outline is Kinodontas after Secreto de sus Ojos, which is the first film, the Argentinian one. I could go into details about the 5 different slots we have. It's not that important for you to know. The important thing to know is that, of course, we have to produce films that somehow fit into these slots. So basically the main slots for new movies is Wednesday in the prime time and Wednesday late at night, and those 2 slots are for bigger audience, let's say art house movies at prime time, and smaller ones late at night. But as I said, we are not only acquiring films, we're also co-producing films, and let's go into detail about these co-productions. Arte as a whole does about 45 to 50 co-productions a year. 10 of those co-productions we do at our department, so it's about 10 co-productions a year. I don't know whether you're familiar, but of those, 2 to 3 are grand accords. So these are co-productions where the German side and the French side, they pool their resources and they both co-produce on one project. For these projects, the director have to be, of course, a little bit more established, well-known. They have to have had successes in the past, distribution in both countries, And to give some example, it's Aki Kaus making Haneke, Lars von Trier, and the likes. So that's those grand accords. Then we have 7 small co-productions. So that means it's only one of those 2 poles that is actually, we say pole at Arte, I don't know whether this can be translated, but so one of the partners from France or Germany co-produces, and we have 7 of those. So to give an example, it's the same as for the Grand Accord, only they're usually on a smaller size. The directors are not that well known. They all are European. I think I haven't mentioned that yet. So they all are European. All the co-productions. We did like Taboo by Miguel Gomez. We did Baal by Semi Kaplanoglu. In the Fog by Sergei Loznitsa and a couple of others. And then we have a third possibility to approach us. That is, we often use it for non-European directors, but that have a strong link to Europe. Because we are not allowed to co-produce non-European projects, we sometimes do a pre-sale on those projects when they have a European co-production partner attached. And there we did like, to give an example, Uncle Bunmi, who can recall his past lives, that was one of those. Or the film that Roberto Olla mentioned yesterday, Quattro Volte, was also a pre-sale, but that was not, obviously, because it's not European, but it's, in this case, our budgets were exhausted and we wanted to really co-produce this film or to give that film a little bit of money. And that's why it finally got a pre-sale agreement. Now I've come to the point in my presentation where I have to, break some bad news. We get like 200 to 300 applications each year. So the chances you have are very slim because there are only 10 to 12 co-productions we do each year, and but on the other hand, it's not really worth trying in France because the French situation with Arte France is just as bad, I'd say, as in Germany. They have more, they get more applications, but they also have more slots, of course. Some words about how you apply. How do I apply to Arte? It's a very the beauty of it, I'd say, is it's a very open system. It's quite easy to access Arte money, because we are my colleagues and we are at many markets. Arte France is at all the markets as well, in Thessaloniki, Cinemart, Cannes, you name it, we are there. You can just, talk to us and discuss the project, and we'll see. As a Greek producer, you're even in a very comfortable position because you have the two options. You can go to Arte France or you can go to Germany. All you need is a good project, a good screenplay, a director with a vision who it helps when he can also defend his or promote his project. And you need a co-production partner in the country you want to work with. So in the end, you need a German partner if you want to work with Arte Germany, or a French partner if you want to work with Arte France. We don't have deadlines, so we have like every month you can apply because there's a decision every month. And there are no, fixed regulations like yesterday it was said about Eurimage. We also accept, of course, the screenplay is very important, but we also accept projects without screenplays sometimes if they have something other,
Treatment? With a treatment?
For example, the film by Michelangelo Framatino, Le Quattro Volte, didn't have a script, of course. Of course. Yes. We accepted it, nevertheless. Okay, now I have brought with me 4 examples of co-productions we did in the last years. The first one, examples with Greece, of course, obviously. So the first one is a very obvious choice. It's the classical Arte co-production, if you want to name it like that. It's The Weeping Meadow by Theo Angelopoulos. It's a grand accord, so the German side, the French side, they both pooled their money into that production. If you were to design a film that is meant to be on Arte, it would be this one. It's a critically acclaimed, director. It's a story that is set in Europe, and it's about the catastrophes of the 20th century. So it's really the typical Arte project. So that was kind of an obvious choice. The second example I brought with me is a very less obvious choice. It's Small Crimes by Christos Georgiou. I hope.
Who is here somewhere?
I hope I'm not mispronouncing him. It is a comedy about a young bored policeman on a Greek island who gets trapped in something that he believes to be a murder mystery story. I know that many people in Greece don't know the film because it wasn't a big success here, but it was a big success in Germany. It was a very conscious choice to do, in this case, a film that is lighter, a lighter film, because that year we had done a lot depressing, really depressing Northern European films like Ulrich Seidel, Thomas Winterberg, those, etc. And we wanted to do something that is completely different of those type of films. And it had a very, very intelligent screenplay. So we were convinced by the screenplay, and that it is a feel-good movie. That when you would leave the cinema, you would feel something like, let's all move to a Greek island because it's beautiful there, and it would be a better life there. So that's, in this case, we gambled on the success of that feeling, and it worked out in Germany, as I said, and it had very, very good ratings on television as well. So the next film I'm talking about is, again, a completely different matter. It's the film Meteora by Spiros Tathoulopoulos. In this case, the film was already shot, and in the editing room when we entered the project, the editing took a very long time. We were shown various rough cuts of the films, different versions that were completely different from the ones before. And in the end, we decided to enter this project. It was not without, I have to say, some heated discussions between the commissioning editors whether we should go on board or not, because, as I said, we are four. I don't know. I mentioned it. We are 4 commissioning editors, and of course, each one of us has his own tastes, his own preferences, and in this case we were really quarreling, and in the end we nevertheless decided to go on board. It will be released in Germany. I think it was already released in France. It was in competition in Berlin, so we were quite pleased in the end with the outcome. And the next film, the last film I'm going to talk about, is a film that is in production. It's not yet finished. It's a film called Wednesday 4:45 by Alexis Alexiou. It's a kind of a film noir crime drama about a heavily indebted jazz club owner who has only 36 hours to save his life. So in this case, we had a very good screenplay again, a very promising director, even though it is not our specialty to do first, second time directors. We only do that very occasionally, because at ZDF, as most of you know, there is another department kleines Fernsehspiel. They are involved in first, second, and third time directors, and they also do international co-production. So this film would ideally be in their department, but in this case, for whatever reason, I don't know, the project came to us, and we thought that this would be a very interesting way to tell something about the economic crisis in Greece, and to bring this problem or the situation to a larger audience in Germany, because it's, as I said, a kind of a genre film as well. So that was our thinking behind taking this on. I'm open to questions if you have any questions.
Υπάρχουν ερωτήσεις? I could make a question until somebody decides, because I'm sure they have. Was it an exception to have, or how often do you make those exceptions of having a first-time or second-time director deciding to co-produce, since there is a part of ZDF that is specializing in that?
It's, as I said, it's an exception, and you have to think of the process as being kind of a, you know, it's a little bit like a fight. You have a lot of projects. You have different commissioning editors, and each one of them is trying to promote his own project. And if he has something to kick another project out, so you can say, well, this project is not meant for us because it's a first-time or second-time director, and by saying that, often it happens that these projects get kicked out of our decision-making processes because they belong to another department at ZDF.
Okay. And can you tell us a little bit about except if there is a question. There is a question. Two questions. Υπάρχει κοπέλα με μικρόφωνο? Πρώτα και μετά ο κύριος στη μέση.
So, if you have a project by a first or a second-time director, and you decide it's not for you in the plenary, then do you suggest it to Das Kleine, or is it totally independent from what you are doing?
No. Of course, we're just 200 meters away. So, and I regularly play football with those guys. So, we see each other, and of course, if they have something that gets turned down, that gets turned down in there, because they have a kind of comité de sélection, so they have a selecting committee, and sometimes projects get turned down that are actually very good. So that's when they give us some projects, and it's the other way around as well, of course.
And how about the documentaries, and what stage does a film or a documentary has to be in order to be discussed from?
So documentaries, I can't say anything about it because I'm not in the documentary department, but I guess you have to contact the commissioning editor at a very early stage, I'd say. I'm not 100% sure, but I think so. For us, it's the opposite. You should contact us when you have a screenplay that is already, a little bit refined, not the first draft. Because, as I think Marie-Pierre said yesterday, you have very few chances. Most of the time, you only have one chance to get into the process or not.
Άλλη ερώτηση? Marie-Pierre?
For the Grand Accord, I mean, who is proposing, Germany or France? Both?
For the Grand Accord, it's both are proposing, and it's always that one of both poles has is the station that actually proposes the project. So. Let's say Akikaus Meki, for whatever reasons, is most of the time being proposed by the German side, and the French side gets on board as well. Whereas Leos Carax, for example, is a proposal by the French side, and the German side decides to go on board as well. But you can propose from both sides.
So how many projects altogether from the German side you do every year?
It's half of, so we're doing 50, half of it from Germany, 25. And half of that 25 is being done by our department or by the Kleines Fernsehspiel, and so it's about 12 films that we do each year.
No.
I saw that you funded Penny Panagiotopoulou film, September, which I saw and I liked it very much. It's a very Greek movie, and I was wondering, I mean, it's co-produced in Germany, but it's shot in Greece, it's all in Greece, so I guess that's not a problem for you, or do you encourage that? You like...
Yes, this is one of the project that it's actually a film co-produced by das kleine Fernsehspiel, even though Penny is not that young anymore, but it's her, I guess, her second film. So it was proposed to the kleine Fernsehspiel, and they decided that on the strength of the previous film and the screenplay, they decided to co-produce it. And as I said, it's the decision of a committee, so a selection committee, and they all sat together and decided that this project, even though it might be very Greece, would deserve the support of das kleine Fernsehspiel.
Would that be the exception, or would you also consider this kind of project at your meeting?
No, as I said, we have a European vocation in a way. So we're really actively looking for European films that talk about their territory. We're not talking, as Roberto Oller yesterday said, it's the same for us. We're not looking for projects that cover all European territories, but we're really looking for strong original films from one territory, and if this is the case in that respect, then all the better.
Okay, thank you.
Can I... Guillaume.
Thank you very much. What's the situation with the German distribution of the film you're involved to? Does the applicant need to have a German distributor on board? Do you like it? Is it a problem? And do you release it quickly or not?
So there has to be a German distributor on board if you want to do a Grand Accord. So there has to be a German distributor and a French distributor, otherwise you won't get the Grand Accord. For the small co-productions and the pre-sales, you don't need a letter of intent of a distributor. We do like it, of course, because we always think it makes the film stronger if already somebody is attached to the project and can bring it, for example, to the markets in Germany. So we try to, and I think I can honestly say that, Titus and Thanasis, we try to really help the producers and the distributors to do everything they can so the film really gets distributed before it's being shown on Arte. So I think we can say we're very helpful in securing a theatrical distribution in Germany and France, because we're really looking for theatrical movies. We're not looking for films that are just TV movies. We're trying to help people to show their films in theaters.
Well, that's a difference that we have. Kyrios Grivas?
Sorry if the subject has been tackled during my absence. I had to go in and out, but the question is, does an applicant from another country has to have a German partner to apply to Arte, or does it help?
To apply, it helps, yes. It definitely helps. You don't have to have a German partner to apply, but you will need a German partner in the end. So it's better to find somebody before the Arte decision-making process than afterwards, because afterwards it's it's very easy for the German the German co-production partner to get on board. So it's better to have somebody to get on board before, because he's really enthusiastic about the project. But as I said, you can also apply without having a German co-production partner.
Sorry, now a small question. Arte never buys a film after it has been made. You have to commission it.
No, that's what
Unless you commission it, if I come with a finished film, from Greece, for instance, and I show it to you, could you buy it afterwards, or you have to start from the very beginning?
No, that's what I said. I mean, we're only producing, as I said, we are showing 300 films, and we are only producing 50 a year. So we are buying 250 each year. Yeah, it's only that we have difficulties on certain slots. So, for example, the Wednesday night slot, so the slot for the let's say more ambitious art house movies, is very crowded because there are a lot of our co-productions tend to be shown there. So we have a difficulty buying world cinema, let's say, for that slot because it's already too crowded.
That's why I want to say that giving your film in film markets is very important because people like Holger are all the time in the video library looking for films to buy.
I'm not all the time in the video library.
No,
I'm
because
also at
all the other
parties
time he's having meetings.
Hi, I'd like to ask, is there a specific, over the experience of the last years, something that is missing from the content that you're looking more and you would have liked? You know, a bit practical question.
You want me to commission a film to you that you do then? Well, what I can say is actually we are, and that's not joking, we're actually looking for comedies. Yeah. We're looking for comedies because because we had especially we have for a year or so now, we have a new programming director, and he told us that the Arte program is too heavy and he needs more comedies.
It's too depressing.
It's too depressing, yes. Even though, yeah.
So I should add that we should check how many German tourists we had after the release of Small Crimes in Germany. So, because you said that the feeling was that everybody got out and wanted to come to Greece. So we should check how was the increase of tourism that year. So, okay, if we don't have any more questions, I think that, Maria Tranadaki, last one, and then we should go and party.
Hi. I wanted to ask, after you've decided to support a project, how do you follow it, the film, I mean, as a commissioning editor? What's the process afterwards?
So you have to be aware if you want to work with us. We're going to be not in constant contact with you, but in regular contact, let's say. So we talk about the script. We are not very, pushy that you have to change the script or something like that. But if we think certain, passages of the script need to be discussed again, so we do that. We get ourselves heard. And then, again, at the stage of the rough cut, we are involved. We go to the rough cuts. We discuss with you, the producers and the directors, about the rough cut. But I think I can say that we are, as well, again, we are quite, we leave a lot of freedom to the directors and to the producers to really do the film that they want to do. And then after that, we are not really, we try to be helpful if, let's say, you don't find a distribution company, and we try with our contacts to find a German distribution company. But it's very hard in Germany. So even if you know the industry quite well, but anyhow, most of the time the German co-production partner knows the industry, the distribution companies better than we. So, but we try to be helpful, but there's often very little we can do. And then the last time you see us, I'd say, is when you deliver the material and we complain about the quality of the material. And the article. everything.
Okay, I would like to thank you for coming and for explaining everything.